Before moving here, I was in a 24-foot fifth wheel, living over there in a trailer park underneath the 5th Street Bridge. It was a trailer park. And it was an older rig, and it was falling apart. The electrical was fried, the toilet was leaking, the roof was leaking, everything was falling apart. I had been with my folks. My dad died and Mom had to sell the house, and so I was, trying to get out on my own. Because of my disability, I wasn't doing well finding employment. So I had found this little job for Goodwill, part-time, as an attendant. Basically, I was just sitting. I didn't even have a wheelchair. I didn't have insurance, and I was pedaling around in an office chair. That's how I was getting around. And I could walk a few steps, but not very far. Yeah, so that's what I was doing for a living, but it was just enough to pay for my rent. It wasn't enough to keep my car insured or keep my car up to date, or I could pay for my rent. I was paying almost $1,000
for a trailer.
For a trailer park, yeah. I was paying for electricity, gas, and I was paying probably close to $1,200. And when I moved in there, I was working for Goodwill. Then I got a job with the Gap. I was making better money, but then I had my 4th heart attack, and they put 7 stents, and it was really hard. The recovery was really, really difficult. And it was during this recovery I wasn't earning any money because I wasn't working. And a friend of mine came over. He came over and said, I want to show you something. He brought me over here and showed me this place and said, we can get you into this place. And so I did. I filled out an application and got in here within a week. It was totally different. I was just really excited. It wasn't really until I was here for about a year and a half as I was applying for disability. I went 6 months with no job or any income at all. The county came in and helped me with the rent. My church was helping me with basics like some food and some things, but I was totally dependent on other people. And when I got in here, I wanted to go back to work for the Gap. That I could have, except that I couldn't meet the schedule. I just wasn't physically capable of meeting the schedule anymore. It was really, really hard at first, and then I got my disability award, so I got paid pretty good income, and I made some very good decisions. I hooked up with a really good insurance, so I'm doing Innovage, and I'm going and working out for 3 times a week. With therapy, I got therapy 3 times a week with professionals who know what they're doing. And so that's huge. I've got a dietitian there. I've got doctors help me take care of stuff. And I bought some appliances and things that would help me live better. And really, I'm probably better off than most people here because of that. Because a lot of people come from the street and they didn't even have anything. And this has completely changed my life. This has completely changed my life. So I'm taking care of my own bills. I'm right,
It's giving you that independence.
Yes, it's given me some independence. Moving away from my parents, I had 3 heart attacks. I was disabled, but I didn't want to apply for disability. I wasn't ready to be disabled. Even though I was limited in mobility and I was limited in some other things, I just wasn't. My lawyer said, Tom, you should have applied for disability many years ago. And he said the fact that you keep trying is admirable, but it's time for you to stop. So I didn't want to go on disability. I wanted to keep working. I thought I could do better. It's nice to wake up in this place. It's got decent landscaping. It's a community, very close-knit community, surprisingly close. It's not like a regular apartment complex. A regular apartment, you don't know any of your neighbors. You don't really want to associate with your neighbors. You go to your room and close the door. This is different. I'm a service-oriented person. I like to help people, so I spend a lot of time helping people. I've been instrumental in putting together events, potlucks, things like that. I helped start the garden. So we got 5 people on the garden committee, and they're really active in taking care of our garden. I've started a church here a couple different times. I run to the store all the time for people who are not able to. Some guys just need a friend. And so I can just be a friend. At some point, the county came to me and said, we'd like to start a peer-to-peer group for support, peer-to-peer support group. I've tried that, but it's kind of developed on its own. I have a great support group. Before I came here and while I've been here, I've got an incredible support group. I have that, and most people don't. Like this one gal has come in, and she said, Tom, I've never experienced this before. I've never experienced a place like this. I've never experienced a home. The one guy that I spend a lot of time with right now is in a wheelchair. His legs are really bad. He's not able to move around very much. He's in a lot of pain. He's never had a bed. Not ever slept in a bed. He's always slept in his car. He never had a bed in his whole life. He got out when he was young and started working for the carnivals, and he was a carny for all of his life. But how do you move out when you don't have enough money? When you're working to survive and pay rent and all that stuff. There's a guy here who's really, really, really dependent on others, and I try to help him as much as I can. But you have to draw boundaries, because there's some people who just they're always a victim, and they don't ever advance on their own. And that's the object, is that we want to advance on our own, right? There's got to be a want and a need, and if sooner or later they get tired of depending on somebody, they've got to move forward. So you have to be wise and help people that need help, that can accept help, but not enable them to continue to be a victim. The idea is, it came to me last year, planting good seed. Doing a garden is, there's this law of sowing and reaping, right? This law of planting. You always harvest more than what you plant. That's a physical law, right? Well, in the same way goes with relationships. What you are reaping, what you're harvesting, is because of what you're planting. Well, I didn't apply that to myself physically until the end of last year. And I realized, being the size I am, the conditions, all the things I've got going on, I planted really wrong seeds in my life to get to this place. And I never, this is something I've been counseling for years. And then all of a sudden that applies to me, and I realized. So now I'm on a journey, and part of my journey is to plant good seed. Habitat, Innovage, everything I'm doing is this going forward is planting good seed. If I can get out of being disabled, if I get out of this chair, and I have hope that I can, but in a few years, if I can lose the weight, get myself in shape again, then I can get out of this chair, then I can get a job. And if I get a job, then I can afford a house, and I can move from there. So this is giving me the breathing room I need to move forward. This is something that's, for me, it's life-changing. I couldn't do what I'm doing unless I was here. I couldn't have the hope and the ability to get out of this on myself. That's the thing for me, to get out of this on yourself, to plant right seeds. That's the deal. I'm planting right seeds. The reason my heart and the reason the doctor was pleased with what, because I'm planting right seeds, and I'm overcoming these things. And I'm able to do that because I'm, in a place where I can live and afford to take care of myself. It's been very fulfilling for me. There was a while that I wasn't even being able to take care. I wasn't taking care of myself. I couldn't, and now I am. And that's the thing. And my kids are just right now. They're all so proud of me, seeing now I just keep fighting. And so that means a lot to me. That means everything to me. That my kids see me fighting and not giving up. That's the legacy I'm leaving for them. Is that you keep fighting and you don't give up. And one day I'm going to make it. One day I think before I pass, before I leave this world, I'm going to be able to stand on my own 2 feet again. Literally. I could overcome this thing. So most everything that's gotten with me is lifestyle. Planting good seed will overcome that. And so I'm fighting to plant good seed.